Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. Hope you're all doing fine. And today we're gonna start with a new story. It's a double-dyed Deceiver. I have no idea what Deceiver is, but let's figure out. So, the trouble began in Laretta. It was the Lano kid's fault, for he should have confined his habit of manslaughter to Mexicans. But the kid was past 20, and to have only Mexicans to one's credit at 20 is to blush unseen on the Rio Grande border. It happened in old Jutsu Waldo's gambling house. There was a poker game at which set players who were all friends, as happens often where men ride on from afar to shoot folly as she gallops. There was a row over too small, so small a matter as a pair of queens, and when the smoke had cleared away, it was found that the kid had committed an indiscretion, indiscretion, and his adversary had been guilty of a blunder. For the unfortunate combatant, instead of being a greaser, was a high-blooded Yoff from the co-ranches of about the kid's own age and possessed of friends and champions. His blunder is in missing the kid's right ear, only a 16 of an inch when he pulled his gun did not lessen. The indiscretion of better marksmen. The kid, that's actually the name of the guy. The kid not being equipped with a retinue, nor bountifully, bountifully, bountifully supplied with personal admirers and supporters, on account of a rather umbrageous reputation, even for the border considered it not incompatible with his indisputable gameness to perform that judicious traditional act known as pulling his freight. Quickly the avengers gathered and sought him. 3 of them overtook him within a rod of the station. The kid turned and showed his teeth in that brilliant but mirthless smile that usually preceded his deeds of insolence and violence, and his pursuers fell back without making it necessary for him even to reach for his weapon. But in this affair, the kid had not felt the grim first for encounter that usually urged him on the battle. It had been a purely chance roll, born of the cards and certain epithets impossible for gentlemen to brook that have had passed between the two. The kid had rather liked the slim, healthy, brown-faced young chap whom his bullet had cut off in his first pride of manhood. And now he wanted no more blood. He wanted to get away and have a good long sleep somewhere in the sun of the Mesquite grass with his handkerchief over his face. Even a Mexican might have crossed his path in safety while he was in, in the mood. The kid openly boarded the northbound passenger train that departed 5 minutes later. But at double B, at Webb, a few miles out, where it was flagged to take on a traveler, he abandoned that manner of escape. There were telegraph stations ahead, and the kid looked askance at electricity and stream. Saddle and spur were his rocks of safety. The man whom he had shot was a stranger to him, but the kid knew that he was on the Carolitas outfit from Hidalga, and that the punchers from that ranch were more relentless, and vengeful than Kentucky fedists when wrong or harm was done to one of them. So with the wisdom that he characterized many great fighters, the kid decided to pile up as many leagues as possible of chaparral and peer between himself and the retaliation of the Carolitas branch. Near the station was a store, and near the store, scattered among the mesquites and elms, stood the saddle horses of the customers. Most of them waited, half asleep, with sagging limbs, and dropping hats. But one, a long-legged, roan, with a curved neck, snorted, and paved the turf. Him the kid mounted, gripped with his knees, and slapped gently with an owner's own quirt. If the slaying of the temerarious card player had cast a cloud over the kid standing as a good and true citizen, this last act of his veiled his figure in the darkest shadows of disrepute. On the Rio Grande border, if you take a man's life, you sometimes take trash. But if you take his horse, you take a thing that loss of which renders him poor indeed, and which enriches you not, if you are God. For the kid, there was no turning back now. With the springing roan under him, he felt little care of uneasiness. After a 5 mile gallop, he drew in to the plainsman's jogging trot and rode northeastward toward the Nueces River bottoms. He knew the country well, its most tortuous and obscure trails through the great wilderness of brush and pear, and its camps and lonesome ranches where one might find safe entertainment. Always he bore to the east, for the kid had never seen the ocean, and he had a fancy to lay his head upon the main of the great gulf, the great gamesome cold of the greater waters. So after 3 days, he stood on the shore at Corpus Christi and looked out across the gentle ripples of a quiet sea. Alright, guys, thank you for joining me today, and see you tomorrow on the next part of this cool story. Thank you for joining me. Bye.